What's going on, everybody? This is Richard with the Hunter-Gatherer Society. I am out on the Cypress Dome trail as promised. Dozer and I are out here. We even have the beautiful bride with us today, although she'll probably be pretty reluctant to be on camera. But we're just getting set up to do these trails. This is a beautiful series of trails. It's probably, I don't know, maybe 4 miles. But then it's connected to another preserve. So we're not sure exactly how far we can get in and out of here, but we're estimating somewhere between 5 and 7 miles of total trail. Again, we'll see. We've done the smaller loops on this set, but have not done the long ones. So the temperatures are great. It's right around 70 degrees, sunny again, slight breeze. And we're looking forward to a great day on the trail. So let's get started, and I'll bring you some photos and video as we go. This is the launching point. Dozer is super excited. So excited he just about bowled over the beautiful bride. Anyway, we're going to use the rest of the room here, and we'll get started. I noticed right away, though, on the trail, I just wanted to show this to you guys. This is kind of cool. This is one thing I love about this trail. They're not here now, but they will be eventually. These little bushes right here, wild blueberry bushes, and they're all over back in here. They're all over back in this brush. So anyway, we're going to use the restroom and we'll get back on the trail. Look how green those trees are over there. I still want to camp on that campsite, but I tried to do it. It was booked. Like 2 months out. All right, guys, we're just getting started on the Cypress Dome trail, right?
Yes.
And let's see, what do we know about Cypress Dome? So Cypress Dome, roughly 5 miles?
Yeah, well, there's different loops on the Cypress Dome, and if you take advantage of the largest circumference, it's a little bit over 5 miles.
So as mentioned before, I've got a beautiful bride with me today. I'm going to keep her off camera. She didn't even request that, but we're going to do that. I'm going to ask for her wisdom here along the way. Dozer, of course, is with. Super excited after yesterday's big power hike. But as promised, we're going to see how much of this trail we can do today. This covers a couple areas. I think there's some low areas. There's some old pasture land. There is an active, what would it be, cattle grazing lease on this land. Haven't seen cows, but I have seen their signs that they've been here. Every once in a while on certain areas of this trail you'll find cow patties. But this trail does vary quite a bit in what we'll see. And we're not going to do any trail lunch or anything like today. We are going to do, well, that's not true. We're going to do a trail lunch, aren't we? Mm-hmm. My lovely wife made us a lunch of a chickpea salad sandwich, right?
That is, yep, that's correct.
So so as mentioned in previous video, I'm down about 40 pounds. And my wife is assisting me with getting down to a goal. Trust me, against my will most of the time, but thankfully she's doing it anyway. And we are increasing our hiking, and that seems to be helping as well. So anyway, this stretch of trail, you can see this is a nice shaded area. Easy, wide trails, so this trail is really great for just about anybody, you know, to navigate. So it's going to run kind of similar to this for a while, so I'll turn it off and I'll bring you back if I find anything cool. And it's green back in here right now.
Mm-hmm, it's really pretty.
No butterflies. The butterflies were less cooperative yesterday.
Were they?
Wouldn't hold still. Had to chase it down the road. Alright guys, we are coming up on a split. That looks like that's the shortcut, the blue trail. That'll take us back. And then we're gonna stick to the green trail. But again, another well-marked trail. So as long as you're not directionally challenged like myself, you should be just fine. Kind of muddy here. But it is absolutely gorgeous back in here. We've gotten out of the kind of cleared area. You can see the canopy that we're under. Dragonflies everywhere. I think at least one of our daughters would be freaked out by that. Isn't dragonflies, yeah. I could go barefoot on this trail.
Don't.
What? There's no cypress nuts here. I suppose I should be gun shy after my last encounter with the cypress nubs. It made me limp for several days. There's some, and there is greenbrier smilex all along here. All right, we're coming up on another split. We're gonna keeping on, aren't we?
Yep.
As you can see here, the green trail hooks left, and this will circle around back to the parking lot. Do we know what the white trail is? Oh, the white trail is the loop that we're gonna be on now.
The white trail by itself is 3 miles.
Okay, so the one we're on is 3 miles.
And then it hooks up the green. They're all measured separately, the green, the white, and the yellow. So all of the white, and we'll do all of the white, is 3 miles. Then it hooks back onto the yellow trail.
So the 3 miles doesn't include what we've been on so far?
No.
Gotcha. So there you have it. So we're going to keep on this white trail, and then there is a red trail that branches off into some land that's not actually the crew. And we haven't decided if we're doing that at all today. That part I haven't been on. I've actually been on this portion.
I don't think we're doing that today.
I don't think we're doing that today. And we've got quite a mix of trees in this trail. We've got palms in here. We've got pines. We've had some big oak. We've got cypress. So a little bit of everything back in here. Oh, here's
I was wrong.
So here is the Caracara Prairie Preserve Trails. So this is the cutoff. So this will go back in. We're not going to do that today, which is probably good based on that truck sitting there. That would tell me someone's back in there doing some spring turkey hunting. And again, that goes from March 6th to March 14th. And so it's probably best that we don't go back in there today, especially with those are loose. There is no, well, that's not true. I think there is hunting in this preserve, but we didn't see any vehicles that really suggested hunting. And this time of day, we probably won't have to worry too much about that, not in here. Stay out of the water, bud. No, stay out. No swimming today. Oh, Dad. Yeah, they're grasshoppers. They're in their larva stage, but I don't remember their name. It was just on the Crewland Facebook page. You remember that time we were out? Was it this trail? No, we were out on a trail that one time. Remember, and they were all over the ground. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, that's it's a grasshopper that's native here, and it is in its larva stage when they're black like that. That's all I can remember. That's the extent of my grasshopper knowledge. All right, guys. Even in the where there's a little bit of water. He didn't like that at all. The turtle was actually less shy than him. Oh, look at fish feeding. Oh, honey, looky here. Oh, big gator. Look at those big gar underneath us. See that one there? Yeah, they're definitely more shy. I wonder if that's a... So we're looking at a ton of gar in this little canal along here. They're just all over in here. Kind of neat. Yeah, I was standing there watching those fish feed, and all of a sudden I realized I was being watched. Oh, those are pretty. Not sure what they are, but they sure are pretty. All along here. No butterflies on them. It must be too windy maybe, huh?
Yeah, pretty windy.
Look at them fish jumping. Watch out, though. Stay. Stay. Look at all them fish jumping. This is kind of pretty in here, honey. Check this out. Goes. Sit. Sit. Isn't that pretty?
Yes.
Oh. Big hawk or something. That's pretty cool. So, I think
Is that a gator head down there?
yeah, that's the big one I spooked probably. So I think these ones jumping, I think those are those black aquarium like suckerfish. I was reading online that they do that. Should we carry on?
Yeah.
All right.
Like something.
Some bugs flying around. As mentioned before, these trails are really well marked. And if you have someone who's not directionally challenged, which I do, that helps as well. But no, they're really well marked. So they're broken off in sections, and that's another thing I like about all these crew trails. If you want to do 1.5 miles, 2 miles, 3 miles, 4 miles, 6 miles, you can kind of take a look at the map quick, figure out an easy path to do that, and just stick to that routine. So really for any fitness level. And the trails are wide, you can run on them, bike on them, run and walk on them, so inclined. Do the Cola all along here. I've seen pennywort, smilex, greenbrier. There's some smilex hanging out. Being talked to. Seen a couple of what? I think that was probably an osprey that we saw over the water there.
Really?
I think that one was. There was turkey buzzards or something swarming, flying around. But the one that went over me, I was trying to film. I think that might have been one. Oh yeah. We do love the ferns.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty.
What is it, does? What's happening?
Air plant. So that's not actually part of the tree. That's actually a separate plant that landed in that split and then has grown out. And they get these red ends to them. They're pretty cool. And there's a million varieties of air plants. Look at these ferns. Wow, look at that. That's really cool. And the one next to it's all green. I don't know that I've ever seen around here, at least, a multicolored fern. Man, if I was harvesting right here, there's greenbrier and smilex all over. There's wild coffee. This is our disappointment. This is wild coffee. We were so excited to find this until we found out you can't actually make coffee out of it. You can actually use it for a tea, but it's supposed to be very, very bitter. And apparently a lot of people have digestion issues with it, gets them upset stomach. So not something that you really want to mess around with. But it is wild coffee. Man, it's beautiful out. Sun's shining.
You were right, Doze. That's the way. Other way.
Yeah, I don't know where that goes, but unmarked. So we're going
Wild Coffee Trail.
Well, look at that. The Wild Coffee Trail. Huh.
That one was not. Oh, okay. They're considering that because that was. I'm gonna say that was not on. Huh. That's neat.
White Loop South Entrance. Trail may be seasonally wet. What'd you think, bud? Is it seasonally wet? And then there's another rougher trail that runs this way, but it's unmarked. Don't know where it goes. But it's really thick woods in here. I love how shady it is in here. In the hot summer, this would be nice. Oh, look at here, a bench. It's an old one.
Yeah, it is.
I bet you it's 5 degrees cooler back here. So in the summertime, this would be an awesome little walk. And it's a good thing that I didn't take my shoes off because there's a lot of roots here, so might have another incident. What do you think, bud? This is nice, huh? This is nice. And again, even back in here, well marked. Watch where you step. Wild coffee. I can see why they call it the Wild Coffee Trail. Wild coffee all over. This is all wild coffee here. You can tell by those leaves.
It's making me think we're gonna have to stop for coffee on our way back.
Ooh, bonus. Stop for coffee. There's thistles coming up.
plant.
Yeah, they are pretty. I like when the purple flowers light up. And again, as mentioned yesterday, that is an edible, not one that I mess with. I guess maybe I'm a lazy forager. Too much work. Run, lizard, run! Doze, where'd you go? There he is. What'd you find? What'd you find? Yeah. Check this out, guys. We're still on that narrow trail, and Dozer found a picnic table. Like out in the middle of nowhere. We're gonna stop here and have our snack. Well, we're just wrapping up our little pit stop here. This is an absolutely beautiful spot. We are in the middle of the woods. It's super dense, and so far on this trail we have yet to encounter anyone else. Now it is a Monday, and so that I'm sure has something to do with it. But even so, it's season here in Florida, and it is really quiet back here. So we're just finishing up. We had a little lunch in the woods. How far are we?
1.5.
So we're 1.5 miles in. So on the 3-mile stretch, we're about halfway, but we got a little bit longer than that to go out. So we're gonna finish up our snack here. Dozer's trying to convince me, of course, to play a little stick. Here, what do you got? That thing's honking huge. God's sakes, come here. So we're gonna carry on. See you back on the trail. All right, guys, we're back on the trail. Unfortunately, these are not edible, but they're kind of cool. Especially that one up there. It's got some interesting color to it. Anyway, back on the trail. This is a little more rustic back in here. You can see the trail is kind of muddy and crisscrossed with some roots. It's really beautiful in here. But it's definitely not the wide grassy trail that we were on. So we were talking about the fact that you can run back in these trails. This one would not be for the beginner runner, someone as klutzy as me. This would definitely be for someone with a little more experience. Still finding a ton of greenbrier here. This is a big patch. That's that wide leaf variant of it. But still finding that back in here. Wild coffee. Still not finding really anything for mushrooms. You know, the wood mushrooms, you find those all the time. But nothing as far as edible mushrooms. Again, it's dry season here. It doesn't rain much. Come May and June, we'll start getting a lot of rain, and then the mushrooms will start to pop. Here's that really wicked greenbrier. Here's a bigger variety of it. Again, you can see quickly, look at the thorns on this larger one. You wrap that, and it's tall too, so you wrap that around your ankle. That's going to be a day ruiner. Dozer, you need to be taller. Then you can clear out. Oh, look at that. Look at that tree you wrapped around that other one. That's kind of cool.
Oh, a whole bunch of those little tiny grasshoppers just hopping.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Those little black ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, look at the spider web here.
Oh god.
Oh goody. I love nature, as long as it's not wrapped around my face in web format. Oh, what's that, bud? What was that? Must have been another lizard. Yeah, running through here would definitely be tricky. And there's a ton of dragonflies. Ah! Lizard! Well, we got out of that heavier rooted section, picking up a little speed. Everything's kind of covered in moss. Notice how everything's kind of covered in moss back here?
What?
Everything's kind of covered in moss back here. This must stay wet for a good chunk of the year back in here.
Yeah. Pretty sheltered.
Yeah, super sheltered. This would be a cool trail in the heat of summer if it was, you know, as long as it wasn't underwater. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Look at the size of that web. You're what?
Oh, I'm just still like freaking out about spider web.
Oh. Yeah, that sticks with you for a while. Kind of like getting a tick. Then you feel like you got ticks on you the rest of the day.
At least we don't have this here. Right?
Well, we do. They're just few and far between. I'm really surprised there's no mushrooms back in here. Even though it's not really season, it's a lot wetter. I just think these big logs should have all sorts of fresh mushrooms on. I'm sadly disappointed too often. Like a kid. Aww.
It's funny how it be so windy above. And then it's really hot down here. It's freezing. But
Yeah.
nothing like that sounds up there.
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear, but up above us right now, you can see the trees really whipping. That one's really going. It's really windy up, but down in this canopy, it's not at all. I mean, there's a nice breeze coming through, and but certainly not windy per se. Oh, look at that huge one. It's old, but that thing's huge. A little bench, an old bench. I wonder if this is an older section of trail, because the benches seem to be a lot older. Well, the trail marker's there, but that's there. Well, for future reference, that is our trail. And we are in agreement that we are not going to walk through that. It's wet as far as I can see. So with the right shoes and different clothing, I might be that adventurous. Today, no, we're going back. So not that adventurous. So be wary, the back trail can be a smidge wet. So we were just saying how we went a lot farther than we thought. You can see Dozer has his stick. So when you're on the sea and the seagull or the bird has, you know, like grass or something in its mouth, you know you're getting close to land. So Dozer having his stick tells me that we're almost back to the picnic table, because that's where he left it. So, like a marker, and now we know where we are. We did turn around. That was way too wet for the two of us. Between the lack of gear for wet hiking and a mutual shared disinterest in climbing around with snakes and gators, we are heading back to the main trail. So I'll bring you back when we get there, and maybe Dozer will still have his stick. What do you think, bud? Yeah? All right. So we doubled back around and we're walking back along the water, and the fish are still going like crazy. And there's that big gator we spooked up earlier. he's watching us. He wants the spot back. But the fish are just all along this, are just going like crazy. So yeah, we left that that wooded trail. It just got too wet. I mean, literally we could see 30 yards and it was all underwater. And so we're doubling back on the white trail. We're going to connect up with the blue trail, and then I'll bring you back in. Go, stay back. Look at all those guys do. So obviously there has been a hatch here. What do you think of that, bud? What do you think of that, buddy? All right, so we are back. I think we can figure it out since there's a car and an arrow.
But we're not going straight to the car. We're going to take a detour on the yellow trail.
Ah, detours. Detours are good. So we did check out the entrance to the car preserve. Dozer went in and inspected it for us. Seemed kind of nice. We're going to save that for another day. I, of course, want to keep going, but it's probably better that we're not, considering I did 6 or 7 miles yesterday. So if I want to be able to walk to work, or walk at work, I should probably shorten it. So you can see we are back on the wide trails. More of these would be a lot better for biking and running. And apparently I missed something of significance. There are gates and fences here, and I keep forgetting there is a active cattle lease on some of this land. And my beautiful bride has just informed me that those are kissing gates. And why are they called that?
I don't know. I've never looked it up, but that's what they're called.
So the cows kiss between them.
Really?
At the gate. I
Are
don't
you
know.
making that up?
I'm totally making that up.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounded pretty good though, didn't it? Anyway, apparently they're kissing gates. So if anyone knows why, put it in the comments. Be interesting to learn. So how long is this little stretch that we're going here? Do you know?
I don't. The map is someplace in your backpack.
Excellent. Always keep the map really well buried. That's our strategy, and we'll pull that out when we can't find the car at some point. But
I know, I've been here before.
and again, you can see there's a green marker coming up on the left, and so it's not like you're going to get lost in here. That's a nice thing. Again, I mentioned that before. These crew trails, they're diverse as far as the ability, the skill levels, and the different landscapes that you see. But also they're really well groomed, really well marked. And I got to say, one thing I'm noticing here on this trail is that I'm really liking. It's going to be hard to find a spot to do our pick it up today.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I haven't seen any garbage along here. So this is really clean. And again, we have yet to encounter another person. There were cars here when we got here, just a couple, but we haven't seen them. And I've noticed that with some of these crew trails, is you can walk around back in here and there's people on the trail, but it's so spread out that you don't really encounter them, which is good. And we were noticing too, holy grasshoppers, we were noticing too that we're not far from the road. What would you say, we're maybe a mile in?
Maybe.
So maybe a mile in from the road, and we really don't hear any car traffic, which is something we both really enjoy.
Here's our first person coming up along here.
Oh yeah, we got a couple people coming. So that's something we really enjoy, is the quiet. We could hear a little bit when we were back on that more rustic trail, but here, of course the wind's probably helping that a lot. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the camera off for a minute here. We got some people coming, so we'll kind of keep our eye on Dozer so he doesn't bother the other hikers, and if we find anything cool, we'll bring you back in. Where are you going? All right, guys, we're coming up to a split. I was slow on the draw with my camera because my lovely bride gave us the details. Oh, there's a little bench back in there. Oh, a viewing bench. I love little benches. That's a new one. Wow. There's where you view. Look at how new that bench is. It's a nice view.
I'm gonna try it out.
All right.
Do you think that's where they originally were gonna put the post, or do you think an animal dug that?
I don't know. Probably an animal. Someone probably sat here with the dog and they dug a little hole. Man, it is absolutely beautiful right here.
Mm-hmm.
There's those really green trees I was talking about. I think that we saw from the parking lot. Or are we a long ways away from the parking lot?
I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know either.
We're not a long ways away, but I'm not sure from that perspective if we could have seen this.
So
No, I
you
feel
guys,
traffic.
I was going to say, you guys probably can't hear this, but we just noticed the sound of a passing car. But really, that's already gone now. I guess it's not gone. You guys probably can't hear that because it's real low. It's a real low rumble. But really, once that passes, right here, other than the wind and that bird chirping and her annoyingly talkative husband, there really is no other sound. So I'm going to shut this off. We're going to enjoy this moment. All right. Yellow trail. So this goes back to the parking lot then?
Yep.
And this, you said, is how long?
1.7, I think.
All right, we're going to add 1.7. We kind of think we added quite a bit of extra distance on by doubling back around after we got to the swamped trail. So with this, what do you think? We'll do 5 today?
I think so. Looking at what I've got on my iPhone.
That's not bad. 5 miles.
Uh-huh.
So if we do 5, the Caracara was another 2.7. So you could do somewhere between 7 and 8 miles on this trail, right? Or are we including that first section?
Yeah, that's included.
Okay.
I was just thinking about that white trail, though. Now, I don't know if you really, truly can include that. I don't know if that ever dries out. That looks so wet back there.
Right. But if you walk to that spot and back.
Yeah.
So we'll trim it back a half mile. Either way, you'd still be doing somewhere so 5, 6, 7, somewhere around 7 miles back in here, which for most people, that's a pretty good haul. For you power hikers, maybe not so much, but for the average person, 7 miles is a good clip. Some pretty mushrooms. Those are not an edible. They are, however, medicinal. Again, haven't researched that much, but just enough to know that they are. We're seeing these all over. Not sure what those are. They're kind of neat. So, back on the trail. We're dodging grasshoppers because they're everywhere. I was just saying I'd come fish that little canal with the gator and wouldn't even have to bring any bait. Murder. I killed grasshoppers.
Yeah.
There's more of those odd little
Those are really
plums.
nice ones. What do you think? Try it out.
Yeah, these are real nice. Again, don't know what they are. If anyone knows, comment. Doze, where are you going? What'd you find? More grasshoppers? It's a pretty canopy in here. I bet this stays shady most of the time, huh?
Look at how strong this spider web is. It's still hanging from it.
You just noticed this. A spider web holding that stick.
And it's just like, it looks like it's just one thread.
Yeah. Weird.
Huh.
I don't want to meet that spider. Uh-oh, where'd Dozer go? Doze! Where you going? Happy dog. Happy dog. Just checking these out. There's the yellow versions. And there's the orange versions. They're really cool. They're along the trail here. Kind of neat. I thought they were like spongy, but they're actually like, it's a bunch of petals. Kind of cool. I was looking for some wild blueberries. I can't find one with the berries on. We found one earlier, but there are plants in here. Well guys, these don't have the berries that I wanted, but you can see the little flower. Well, I guess you can see the little berries starting there. Little white berries. These are wild blueberries. And there's a bunch growing in here. Won't be long. Oh yeah, here's some berries starting to form up. You can see right at the end, maybe you can see that. Look at the end of the berry, and the way to tell if that's edible, it'll have like a little crown on the back end of it. Most of your wild edible berries will have that crown or some version thereof, like in the blueberries stuff. Not a guarantee, you got to know what the plant looks like and everything as well, so don't just take one thing. But these are wild blueberries. We have harvested them here in small quantities. All right, coming up to the split. You can probably hear the traffic in the back on that last video as well. Nice little sitting bench for the resting or for the figuring out which way to go, I suppose. Okay? I suppose. Anyway, the road's right over there, and the parking lot is not too far ahead here. It's been a great hike. Only seen a couple people. Been really quiet. Saw a gator. Saw some birds. Fish jumping. Wild edibles. Nice picnic one. Before the swamp. So a nice day on the trail. So again, Cypress Dome. Cypress Dome Trail, part of the crew. Highly recommend it. All right, guys, we're back to the parking lot. You see the road behind me, and we wrap this walk up. No blueberries yet. They're on the bush, but they definitely aren't ripe yet. It's pretty early in the season, so that's a ways off. But it's nice to see them on there. It was a great trail, beautiful day. I really recommend this trail. It's absolutely beautiful, and there's a good variation. There's also a primitive camp here at this trail. You have to make reservations online. I don't know if they charge for it or not, but I don't think they do. But you do have to reserve it, and that can be the catch. There's also a large covered area for like groups, and I'm sure that's by reservation as well. So again, Cypress Dome Trail. We did probably 5 miles today. It looks like there's another 2 or so that we could have done if we connected to the Cara Preserve, and so definitely worth checking out. This is Richard with the Hunter-Gatherer Society, and I'll see you on the next trail. In the meantime, get out there and do something wild.